Right, so unconditional love and the love essence of chocolate. I must say chocolate is one of my favorites. I really do love it. And, to that extent, I prepared a stress defense shield smoothie, a brain field smoothie, and an extreme performance smoothie. And these are all raw cacao based, and they've got some hemp powder in them and over 30 nutrients. In fact, the extreme performance boost has got over 40. And that was one way of getting in a load of really super nutrients and herbs without having to open up 30 packets every day. I had young children at the time, and I even formulated medicinal chocolates. And this became a great wow, and I was shipping them around. The only problem was that they melted. So then, and also we were up until 2 a.m. folding these things in beautiful silver foil because they were heart-shaped. You couldn't really mechanize that. So these were handmade and hand done from the outset. Anyhow, it taught me a lot about nutrients. It taught me a lot about cacao and the wonderful function that it has to mask the flavors of the very bitter herbs and other super nutrients. So that became a go-to for me, that I was getting 30 nutrients in every day. My body could pick and choose as it wanted, when it wanted, any time of the day to nourish itself. So actually 365 Healthy by Choice, known then as Heavenly Harmony, those of you who have been around with us for that many years, in fact, this is our 15th year anniversary, they were Heavenly Harmony chocolates, and they were purple and green and gold and silver and so on. And I also put them in my children's lunch boxes for school, making sure also that they would be getting the wonderful, powerful brain nutrients and energy. So in the nutrients that go into the brain field and the stress defense shield and the extreme performance boost, you've got the long chain sugars, not the sweet ones. So if you've got long chain sugars in there, if you're using cold pressed, unheated cacao oil, cacao butter, coconut oil, you also satisfying the need for oils in the body, not completely, because black seed oil is very important, but you still are. So my children wouldn't look always for, the heated oil foods and the very sweet foods. Well, here's hoping, but that was my method. And that is how actually, as I said to you, my whole business started on a product level. So we had all these various nutrients, some combined then, like the medicinal mushroom mix. The medicinal mushroom mix has got 6 of the medicinal mushrooms in it. The bee mix has got the 3 royal jelly, propolis, and bee pollen. And the algae mix has got the blue-green algae, chlorella, and spirulina in it. And then I formed the adaptogen mix, which has got the rhodiola, ginseng, astragalus, ashwagandha, shatavari. And those 5 products then split off from the stress defense shield. And then I started adding to the toolkit, is what I call it. And we now have today the 365 Healthy by Choice range of, well over 160 products. It's really is a toolkit. It's a plug and play based on our quantum medicine assessment devices that we use, the live blood analysis. So that's what we do here. Those of you who know. And without sidetracking, I just wanted to really emphasize the raw cacao aspect that gave birth to what we have today. And, we can thank various people for that as well. But those were the starting points. So when we're talking about, let's talk about the chocolate, and then we'll talk about the unconditional love afterwards, the essence of chocolate. When you're looking at raw cacao, apart from the cacao plant having the highest concentration of plant-based magnesium in the world, I mean, that magnesium is for relaxation and maybe de-stressing. That's why people love chocolate. The chocolate we buy in the stores, of course, and some of the chocolate, hopefully, that you won't be buying tomorrow, but nonetheless, they use a cocoa. So they've already heated it, they've altered it. Raw cacao is not cocoa. When I was small, my mom made us cocoa with sugar and milk. Raw cacao is raw from the cacao bean, unheated, with all its antioxidants, with its magnesium. Very calming, very relaxing as a food, and with powerful nutrients. Interestingly enough, in the cacao forests naturally, the mucuna bean will grow intertwined with the cacao plant. So the cacao is a stimulating adaptogen, and the mucuna is an anti-stimulating adaptogen. So just interesting to know how the mucuna pruriens, purple bean, fits in with the raw cacao. And the mucuna pruriens is also a sweet tasting powder once they've ground up the bean. So those are beautiful, and they work together, because when you're balancing levity and gravity, stimulation, anti-stimulation, you always want to be eating foods that are balanced. Otherwise, they will put you out of balance. So we use those two a lot to balance our foods. Also, you could use the raw cacao and a spirulina, the raw cacao and a pollen, the raw cacao and a blue-green algae, the raw cacao and a cordyceps mushroom or a lion's mane mushroom. And then again, you're working with levity and gravity, you're working with stimulation and anti-stimulant. That's how we need to eat. Nature has it all. Of course, they grow together. So that just sharing a little bit with you on that, because that really brings the body into harmony. It brings the life force, and it doesn't drop you. So very important to know that aspect. And there's another very interesting fact about raw cacao. There is an alkaloid in raw cacao, which is very similar to oxytocin. And those of you who know, oxytocin is the bonding hormone. When the baby's born and the mom looks into the baby's eye and the baby into the mom's eyes, there's a flow of an energetic flow. There's a buildup of oxytocin is released when that happens. And when you eat chocolate, apart from the beautiful taste, there's a release of this bonding hormone from the alkaloid in the raw chocolate. So there's a beautiful hormonal effect, and that, I think, is where bonding hormone, where we bring in the chocolate on a day like a Valentine's Day, or on a special occasion when you're celebrating something, or when you want to try to bond with someone, I suppose. So that's the value, and I just find that very interesting. And I find it very, very, a very relaxing food to drink. And when I make my smoothie, I can go for hours. And I'll talk about the recipe in a little while. And you all know, when we mix it with the Budwick mixture as well, then we've got virtually a complete food. So that's the cacao thing. That's just a little bit of background for tomorrow, which is Valentine's Day. And I'll go through the specials just now. And if we're talking now about, that's the essence of love that comes from raw cacao. And then if we're talking about unconditional love, this is also one of my real areas where I've delved into with my doctorate. And of course, it's indescribable, because if there are words to describe what unconditional love is, there aren't the words. So this is beyond words. We're talking about unconditional love. And actually, in my doctorate, there are a lot of researchers that are referred to who have themselves delved into deeper into states of awareness, states of consciousness, and states of unconditional love. So if we're heading to self-discovery, getting to the point of cleansing and purifying ourselves emotionally, raising that consciousness to an unconditional love state, acceptance of all, non-judgmental of everything, we will then be able to find our divinity. And that's really what Taoism is about, ancient Eastern, and many of Buddhism, the main ancient Eastern philosophies. It's about finding our divinity and recognizing that. So raw cacao with the mucuna, with the spirulina, the blue-green algae, the pollen, balanced food that on an energetic level will also support raised awareness, deepening into consciousness, and achievement of unconditional love. So there are foods that do this, that do help us because they're highly intelligent. Even the medicinal mushrooms come from another galaxy even. They're not even earthly. The spores come down in the atmosphere. They settle on decayed trunks, and with the right climate, the right temperature, the right humidity and water, suddenly out of the blue, you get these mushrooms, fruiting bodies appearing everywhere. I know I do. After we've had a lovely thunderstorm and rain, the next morning I'll go out and lo and behold, there'll be these beautiful mushrooms that I didn't know where they came from. Anyhow, they bring an intelligence. I would hesitate to say, but I think you know what I mean, an extraterrestrial intelligence, which when you consume this intelligence, of course, your DNA starts evolving at the pace that it should. And you're then in sync with the universal energy. So these foods are very important to assist us with achieving unconditional love. And in my doctorate, I've actually married these two, in addition to things like almost gold. But however, this achievement of unconditional love doesn't mean that there are no boundaries. One needs to recognize that, yes, we are all one and we're all sharing everything, but we can't be silly about unconditional love. I think Professor Desiree Rejuvenate talked about loving the sinner but hating the sin. So in other words, we are all one. The rapist and us are all one. The murderer and us are all one, but we don't unconditionally love the sin, the rape or the murder. That makes sense to you. So there's a whole big explanation, and we could go on for days about it, but we set this world up as it is, and we decided what was going to happen. Individually, you decided what your learning points would be this lifetime. So therefore, even if you had a really bad experience, we need to understand why you set it up. You set it up, you're responsible, you own it. And as a result of that, again, it's about unconditionally loving everybody, but not if it was a sin, not the sin. But taking out of that the gold. What was I supposed to learn? Why did I set it up? And once you've got that, you can move into that place of freedom, joy, peace, unconditional love, and get closer to your destiny through self-discovery, through raising awareness, and through raised consciousness. So none of this is a destination. It's a journey. And you could say, all right, well, even while we're here, we come from unconditional love. We come through in the perfect state. We still are in the perfect state, and we've always been. It's just that there are points of resistance, almost layers of an onion, if you like, that get peeled away as we take our trials and tribulations, our steps into deepening into consciousness, using this earthly experiential experience as a not a playground. I don't mean playing, but to play the game of life. Let's put it that way. To understand who we are, and to reconnect in this dimension of duality with unconditional love. That's our challenge. And I remember once also Professor Desiree Dubonnet was talking about various industries, no names mentioned, but how can you unconditionally love them? Well, in fact, we set this up. We set up the torsion field. We set up the resistance between, in other words, to move from nature, natural, organic, authentic, to synthetic on all those levels, to experience it, to understand why did we set this up. Oh, wow, to deepen our understanding, our connection, our consciousness into a deeper level of nature, a deeper level of authenticity. So it takes the resistance, the chaos that it causes for us to shift through a quantum collapse into a high level of consciousness. And that's how we deepen into unconditional love. Rudolf Steiner also talked about the achievement of unconditional love through peace and joy and freedom. And that's what we do with the holistic ancestral orientation, the HAO work, the HAO. We achieve deeper and deeper states of awareness and consciousness. And that's about it. If you understand that nothing is by chance, you set it up, own it, be responsible. Work out where the origin is through the holistic ancestral orientation, which is part of my doctorate. There's a framework there to go and understand it. Share the memories, give them back, erase them, and erase the data that continually circulates. And learn what you need to learn, deepen into it, and move on. The reality is, once you balance the sadness and the joy, once you balanced it and it's in harmony, and you've achieved the happiness and you've deepened into unconditional love and closer to you knowing your destiny, the next resistance will come along. So it could be courage and fear, for example, and an incident will happen. And it will remind you of an incident earlier in your life and even earlier in your life. In fact, yesterday on the quantum SCIO EPEX QUEXED, we got age 0. So at age 0, this child was born and decided X, a mental construct. I'm going to be alone, and I'm going to set up aloneness my whole life. And this is a true story. So we're 25 now. We're sitting in a country, not our country of birth. And we're not in the job that we want to be. We're not with the friends we want to be. And we feel alone. But it's discord in that aloneness. And I was saying to her, we need to achieve a level of comfort and coherence in our aloneness. Because we never really are alone. We have everything around us, and everyone is always around us. But she's intensified this level of aloneness so she can come out of it with wisdom, greater awareness, greater unconditional love. But to, explain that to a 25-year-old who's already doing that is it's quite a chunk of their life. It's quite a chunk to explain to them. But she did get it. She knows exactly now. Once you know what you've set up and why you're doing it and why it's part of your path, there's no more resistance. That's what I wanted to say. So the resistance is set up to create the chaos, to create a quantum collapse as we understand and move into high levels of consciousness. So that's really our unconditional love. You can have a bit of chocolate with that and increase your bonding with everybody, because I think one of the things in this day and age is that we are disassociated, not only amongst ourselves, but with nature and everything else around us. We do live a synthetic life, but we chose it. So it's up to us to look at the good out of the resistance that we set up and then move forward with greater wisdom and using the quantum field of wisdom of knowledge, the Akashic records, the morphogenic field, the 0 point. And this is the existential field that the ancient Eastern philosophers talk about, where there are actually no words, but where everything happens. So this is our playground, this is our experience, and why are we here? To raise our awareness and consciousness through experiences. Otherwise, there's a zero sum, because we've come in at this level of consciousness and we played, but we didn't do anything constructive. We left at this point. So that's a waste of a whole number of years. So everybody's to their own, for me, I've come in at whatever the level of consciousness was, and I'm going to do my best to get to a much higher level. And be able to say one day to all those people that stood up to teach me, thank you. And to not judge other people, because we're not in their shoes, and what they're doing might be their lesson, their learning. And once you become unemotional about all of this, non-judgmental, life's a lot easier. And we're all practicing. No one's perfect, but I'm just saying. And we understand why we chose this or this person or that teacher appeared. We had road rage with someone in the road. I hear all these stories every day. What was the learning? I mean, that's obviously just the question. So unconditional love is not about surrendering to all at all. It's about tough love, which is also unconditional love, and boundaries. So the abuser needs to stop. You can't keep allowing yourself to be abused. That's not unconditional love for self or the abuser. The abuser needs you to learn the lesson so that they will stop. And that's what happens alchemically, energetically. So it's quite a lot to sink in, but this is where I'm at the moment. This is what's in my doctorate, and this is where we need to be, moving out of old paradigms and into new ones. Information is all here, and being part of a collective, multipolar environment as opposed to unipolar, as opposed to a segregated. Separate world. We need to be in unification. And you can look outside at what's happening, and it's a mirror image of what's going on inside us. So there are always going to be that war, that tension. Just as soon as you clear something, the next one, I don't know how soon, but the next one will arrive, and that's just it. So that getting back to the tough love, and you need self-respect, and you need to be respected. Even neighbors. I don't want this. This is not acceptable. And not being silly about unconditional love. And really putting your self-respect first. Even in the Bibles, and Professor Deja Dubonnet was talking about this before as well, is that Jesus came in and turned the tables over in the churches and the temples, because interest was being charged on money, and that's not how it was supposed to be. And he said, tough love, this is not happening. Was it heeded? That's another story. But we do need to defend ourselves. We do need to act with that kind of unacceptable behavior. If it's your child too, say no. As hard as it might be, and that whatever the consequences are, don't fear them. You're doing the child a favor. You are not doing the child a favor, but by allowing, let's say, for example, randomly abuse to be happening to you. You got to some stage put your foot down and say no. So you can ask yourself a lot of these questions as I'm talking. And I think the more aware you become, the more pure you are, the more clean that you eat, the more you focus on a term that Rudolf Steiner talks about is clairvoyance. And that is tapping into the universal wisdom, the knowledge. For example, you can be driving your car and you know it's going to hail. You know somebody's going to come and visit you. If something tastes like something, why does it taste like that? Oh, because it's the minerals. And so you find you downloading the information. You don't need textbooks. You don't need video clips. You don't need a YouTube, some other person to tell you something. Well, you don't even know if it's true. You don't even know if it's distorted information. You don't even know if there's marketing behind it or whatever. So it's just about crystallizing who we are and going through morphogenesis all the time. The caterpillar to the butterfly, to the caterpillar to the butterfly. Same DNA, different representation. And moving in sync with universal growth and evolution. That is really looking at holism. And the authenticity in your thoughts, the foods you eat. And it's all there. But just to simplify this, the resistance is there not to be hated, not to be blamed, not to be challenged. It's there to teach us. So, wow, let's learn the lesson so it can go away. That's what I say. And we are just all part of one. So I wanted to show you. Let me see if I can bring some slides in here. The specials for Valentine's Day and for February as well. There we go. Just a few slides to end off with. It's going to take a few minutes to pull through. And I've just managed to tie in raw cacao, which is really symbolic of Valentine's, the heart. To mention also, cacao is a heart-centered product, a nutrient. It does open up the heart chakra as well. That's the love, and that happens through the release of the hormonal alkaloid. All right, so here we are today talking about our unconditional love, and then let's talk about the brain fuel. So this is the one I mentioned earlier that I started and developed. I'm not sure we'll be able to read. Yes, we are. So it's with the raw cacao, the hemp seed protein, ginkgo biloba, maca powder, pomegranate, blue-green algae, chlorella, spirulina, kelp, reishi mushroom, shiitake, maitake, cordyceps, chaga, lion's mane, Siberian ginseng, ashwagandha, astragalus, shatavari, foti, moringa, baobab, schizandra berry for the liver, holy basil, the revered Ayurvedic herb, stinging nettle, yarrow, dandelion, cat's claw, tahibo for parasites, passion flower, chamomile flower for aromatase inhibitors, acai berry for its lovely antioxidants, Himalayan salt, gotu kola, and rhodiola. So this is a combination of, it's a brain fuel, stress defense shield, same. The combination of those individual products that I spoke to you about. So we have it on special now. It was $6.50, now $5.65. And we use this extensively with the Budwick mixture, which I think you're all familiar with now. If you're not, go to the previous week or the week before's YouTube videos on my YouTube channel, Jane Mackenzie, and you'll get the recipe there. And that is an absolute wow. We fold the brain fuel or the stress defense shield into the blended no fat or low fat cottage cheese and flaxseed oil. It's a whole story to that, and we've got a meal in one. So I'm really interested in foods that elevate my life force. In other words, not foods that take my energy and leave me in the negative. I'm wanting to constantly be elevated naturally in a balanced way. And this brain field is balanced. Stimulant and anti-stimulant, levity and gravity. And that builds my vitality and my life force. So that's a great one. Have a look on the website under sale for that. We've also got, lovely for Valentine's Day, we thought about our infrared light saunas. We have two 14 micro saunas. It's a 30-minute treatment. And with the special this month and for Valentine's is that book one and get the next one free. So for 349 Rand, actually 2 people can fit in. The saunas take 2 people. So, you're going to get double and quadruple your money's worth. So 2 people can go in and you get the free one. So that's just great. We all know about infrared. Infrared red light therapy stimulates our mitochondria, the energy, the ATP in our body. It removes toxins. The 14 micron one penetrates 4 centimeters into the body. What I really love about the infrared sauna is that it melts neutral fat. And so many people that we do assessments of on a day-to-day basis have got, yes, they can control through dietary, they'll control the cholesterol, they'll control the triglycerides, HDL and LDL, but that neutral fat sits there, and it sits in the blood in huge big pools, like lakes of oil. I see it on the live blood microscope, and the parasites live in there and eat it. So we do have to remove that neutral fat, and the infrared sauna does that. And it's the invisible light from the sun. That is infrared light therapy. And we need it seriously today because of the overflow of excessive blue light. And we use our blue light glasses as well to balance that. So very important that we bring in the red light to balance, get into the sun, let the sun cover our skin and penetrate the pineal gland and so on, because that's what's happening with the blue light, and that's not the good light. It's not the life force light. It's the opposite. It takes your energy. So infrared light's a very important part of the 365 Healthy by Choice products and services and my protocols, if you like. Very important. We've got some beautiful also infrared panels that you can put above your bed, or we use them in the clinic on the drip stands. So while you're getting your drip, how's this? While you're getting your IV oxygen maximizer drip and you're there for 3 hours, you're getting doses of infrared light. You're getting the earthing mat wrist pad wrist strap on you. You're getting grounded. You're getting all this oxygen flowing through. You're getting our smoothies while you're sitting there, the brain fuel smoothie. And imagine you're having a whole infrared light therapy, grounding bar, and oxygen purification process all in one go. I mean, how can you not heal? So that's really good. We love that. We love doing that. And as I say, all of this started as I've developed. So that's a special one. We've also got these absolutely awesome infrared light foldable foot soak tubs. And also on special were 1,250 Rand and now 999 Rand. So that's quite a good saving there. And that's going to give you the infrared light into the feet. And we all know under the sole of the foot, there's a gazillion of receptors. So that infrared light is going to be picked up. There's foot rollers in there. There's magnets. There's bubbles. And it's also heated. So very good. We'll put the Cell Vitality Oxy Minerals in there, and we'll put the DMSO in there, and we'll soak for 15 minutes. You can also use zeolite. You can also use our 4 mineral salts, new foot soak. More on that next week. And then just to end off here, this is very, very important. Holistic Quantum Wellbeing, our practitioner business in a box. So this is the newest devices. They are absolutely incredible. They have got upgradable software. As you all know, I've used these devices for the last 15 years. And they've stood the test of time. I bought it from a doctor in the beginning, and he said to me, this is going to change the nature of your practice. And, you know, I was still coming from the point of view of like, I don't need a machine. And that's true. But by using these machines, you can actually hone in your natural skills to determine which areas of the body need to realign. But it does order it for you. But the most important thing is that the client can see the improvement. So I had a lady today who cleaned up her act. She purified her body. She did all the detoxing. And I first of all did a baseline for her. And then she came today. We did the follow-up progress report. She's just about in green on everything. And she's moved now from the detoxification products into the highly nutrient-dense products, the Almost Gold, the Replenish plus Boron electrolytes. So those are your minerals, the shilajit, the Irish moss, minerals first. The flaxseed oil she was already on. The microbiome reset she was already on. The replica RNA, DNA, the 5 building block proteins for every single protein need in the body. It will shapeshift into whichever protein is required. Imagine that restores the genetic code. It builds neurotransmitters, hormones, enzymes, and for growth and repair. She's on that. She's on the Activa stem cells, alternating with the brain fuel. So, you know, those are wonderful, wonderful ways to then, all you're doing is you're cruising because you're eating for fun. You've cleaned your body, you're getting in these highly nutrient-dense products. I talked last week about the Bova scale, measuring really around about 9, these nutrients. 9,000, sorry, should I say. Raw dairy is sitting at 6,000. Green juices is at around 6,000 as well. And anything less than 6,000 when you eat it is going to, on the Bova scale, will take your energy. So we want to be eating above the Bova scale, above 6,000 Armstrong on the Bova scale, to leave ourselves with energy for our body to do the things it can't get to, rather than taking our energy. And these are substances that are essences, full of unconditional love inherently in them, almost. So this little device is for practitioners. You do need to know a bit about anatomy and physiology, of course. And you get my manual, which there isn't a manual for these devices. So that's just great. Over my years and years and years, you get a reset box of nutrients. You get 3 hours of live and recorded training. 1 hour is with me. And we do you as the case study. And then in that box of nutrients, we will then put 5, sometimes more products for you to reset and realign yourself, moving through my HIELO process, the holistic integrated epigenetic life orientation process. So restore, reset, rejuvenate, rejoice. And then, what's not in here is the emotional release, but of course, this is the stepping stone. And then there's the product brochure, the product orientation. So when you get a reading to know which nutrient in the toolkit to use, or which nutrients. So this is on a great special now. There's a very big saving. In Rand terms, it was usually 19,900, now 17,600. So these are the newest, the latest software. And I'm very proud to be able to bring this to people. It is a business in a box. You will start making income on the consultations and the margin on the products. More of that when you come and see me. So that's a great special. And where do you get all of these? You go onto the 365 Healthy by Choice website, or straight to the shop, and you can look on sale, and you can look in the rest of the website. It's an extensive website. So there's a massive amount on there. It's an educational site. If you get stuck, just go to the search bar and search what you're looking for. DMSO, Almost Gold, foot soaks. And if it's on sale, it'll appear there anyway too. So I really hope that you have enjoyed this. I'll talk on Valentine's Day. Go and have a special day with special people. Really celebrate the essence of, I would say, unconditional love and acceptance. And bond a bit with the chocolate. Of course, the bought chocolate has got heated oil. That's why people get pimples and skin breakouts. It's because of the sugar and the heated oil. So that's testimony. If you eat if you take the brain fuel and you add some cacao butter, some coconut oil, and you put that on a double boiler, you add a bit of honey, you add your brain fuel powder, add some of your nuts, and you mix that, and you put it into little molds or put it on flat sheets in your fridge. You've got the medicinal mushroom chocolates. You've got chocolate. So there. So that's all you have to do. Simple as that. I've already made it for you. So enjoy that. And I think the true release of the oxytocin alkaloid comes from cacao, not cocoa. So don't be blindfolded. Don't be deceived. And there's a lot of raw chocolate on the market now. 15 years ago, there wasn't. So yay, we're moving forward to authenticity, truth, and unconditional love. So have a good Valentine. We'll see you next week.